right out the gate here in game one.
And also denying it from Pays for the rest of the tournament. That's kind of fun. This would be fighting fire with fire. Jinx has been a classic counter. We've mentioned it many, many times.
But do you take the Lulu or do you take the Thresh?
I'd prefer the Lulu. Carrier would probably prefer Tahm Kench because he thinks of it as an engaged support. That'd be kind of fun. But I wouldn't mind any of the three, to be perfectly honest, just making sure that there's a little bit of extra peel for Pays.
I kind of like the Lulu here for Keria because of its empowering of the already incredibly strong Xin Zhao. But Keria is arguably most famed champion of his career, even though the Bard is more recently. The new hot for him is going to be the Thresh they take. And this is a classic, right? The Jinx counter to the Aphelios. We haven't seen it very often because she has been so not meta, not strong, but with the changes to crit, she's incredibly strong on this patch, and players have shied away from her, but Pays is going to pick it up here in game one. Like, this is usually something you see in game 3, game 4, not game 1 of a Fearless draft. And this is what we saw when I first came into the LCK, when Aphelios was incredibly meta, often even B1'd in some of those drafts. It was like Aphelios Jinx every game. This is pre-Fearless.
Yeah. Let's get more of it India brain as we get onto the Rift for game number 1, BNK FearX against T1. I was really expecting one of the T1 fans to randomly screech as well, as I'm going to have to hold that thought, as Vikler is dying. Faker really wanted to get a bit of extra damage down, as Vikler following his minions towards the lane. If this was last year, he'd be able to just go back and it would be fine.
It's not, so he's not. And he is just going to have to play very carefully here, and every single decision he makes, every auto he sends, it's actually really important. Missing that Q, actually quite impactful.
Yeah, this is subpar.
He has a potion, of course, so that will help. And once he hits level 2, he will get a lot of health from that. But in a lot of other matchups, might just lose the lane from that alone. Straight up.
Could have been very, very rough. As Clear and Doran laning this one out. Bjorn has actually been relatively good early on in this lane. As you can see here, Doran laning very aggressively right now. But Clear has been doing just fine. Carrier missing that particular hook as we head down towards this bottom side.
Yeah, Lulu can auto-attack at range.
Hey, so can Thresh, kinda.
Kind of.
I mean, it's not really range, but it's more than melee, you know?
Yeah. It's like he's swinging a towel at you.
Yeah.
Not quite the most threatening thing, but because he misses the hook, you know, that's kind of how this matchup goes. You look for a hook, you miss it, and Lulu's like, all right, well, that's some of your health gone, and that's some more prio in the lane. Good reaction, though, from T1. His owner is going to go for an early gank here.
The good old level 3 gank. Xin Zhao, not necessarily known for it. And we've got Raptor nowhere near. Diablo, I think, has a bit of an idea as to what's going on here, but already Owner comes through. And they get the flash thread. That is so beautiful from Carrier. Sets it up with the flash prediction, and down goes Diablo. Not enough summoner spells for this bottom laner.
I hate to say it, but like, this is the second time that's happened 2 days in a row with the winning lane. We saw it yesterday, Canyon go for the early gank on the bottom duo of D+, in the same situation with their Ashe Seraphine lane. And here, you're pushing up super far, you don't have any vision, and there's a lot of great follow-up to a Xin Zhao gank here with the Thresh lane. You got to play more respectfully there. Now, both summoners down for Diablo. Dies anyways, and all of the wind is out of the sails here for BNK's bottom duo.
Yeah, this is a disaster, and we know that a Jinx is just going to be able to get better and better as time goes on. Diablo has decided to pick up a cull, and so foregoing any extra pressure, and yeah.
I mean, he just walks right into it, and he knows there's a possibility of this. That's why he's heading over there to set up a ward, but yikes.
Yeah.
That's I don't know what the opposite of ideal is, but it's that.
And now Raptor is looking for a gank onto Faker here. Does get the flash out as the Aegis comes on through. So Vikler is out of the woods just a little. Let's see whether he can actually even out the farm, as Owner is going to move on over and take this Rift Scuttle towards the top side of the map. So it didn't actually impact his clear too much, but is behind by a couple of camps, as we can see.
Yeah. Not going to be the weak side police there on the top lane for Doran, I don't think. And there is a ward there for Clear. He's not going to have the same weak point that Diablo and Kellen had. And, you know, obviously a lot of the time you want to be warding for at level 1 in the brushes to make sure that you end up getting the level 2 advantage, so you can push the lane like that. And it is not always going to be a level 3 gank that you expect. It's been much less common recently. But as recently as yesterday and today, you know, if you are going to push that hard, you have to be ready. And then maybe don't walk into the river. If you're just not going to ward initially, maybe kind of path down a little bit. Play more safe.
This is the thing. It's sort of misreading what the potential level 3 timings could have been on that particular gank. And really good, you know, experimental pathing from Owner as well. Of course, not a lot of people expecting a Xin Zhao gank at level 3.
If they do expect it and you don't get anything out of it, the cost is high, right? So it's not, on BNK's defense, it is not something that you expect to happen 100% just because you're that far up in the lane.
Yeah. Well, now Carrier is just off to the side here, making sure that he does soak the experience.
Hayes got his Greaves off of this back, so he is ready to fight. He is ready to scrap and trade back a little bit here versus the Cull in terms of items here for Diablo. Feeling very nice for the Jinx.
Well, there's the flash. Let's see whether Vikla can get that shockwave down. Hits that level 6. And Emperor's Divide is going to be used preemptively here to make sure that he can't get over. Shockwave goes completely wide, though, as Faker's just walking it off.
Vikla's
shifts
face.
the sands, and he's just fine.
Faker's just like, no. Good try, buddy. Vikla's face.
And now this bottom lane is just up a creek that they don't like without a paddle. However, that is going to be the first kill going over to BNK. Now Raptor is going to find Faker trying to make his way back. And there is the orb once again. Faker shifts the sands once more, and the spear does go wide. And so a 1-for-1 in the bottom lane. Actually better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And Vikla now is able to farm behind this turret.
Kill goes over to the Lulu on the bottom side, so not as good as it could have been. Good gravitum there from Diablo, who didn't have flash. Kellen is the one who is going to employ it, juggle some of that aggro back, or buy some time during the turret aggro. As Raptor was like, and I took that personally about Faker surviving there, but he does not die, and actually, in fact, stays even in CS. However, 2 plates did go over to Vikla, which will, you know, put him in a pretty significant advantage here. You can see he also has a slight roll quest advantage as well.
Yep, doing pretty well there. And is now able to move on over. Carrier getting up here as well, as Faker just trying to desperately get this wave shoved out so that he can go back. Vikla is not seemingly afraid as this huge wave of minions does come towards him. Doran is now burning as Clear, looking for an opportunity. Does have his flash available. The Equalizer and the Ram just came down. I'm glad that we didn't necessarily have to watch. I imagine that was just an attempted bit of harass with some R buttons.
Yeah, it looks that way. Just no flash employed from either player means doesn't look like they were set up in a way that were really threatening at all. Swifties on the board here for Clear, trying to apply that pressure. And we'll see Doran go back. Doesn't have TP, though. And it calms down for a second here.
Yeah.
We were kind of going at 100 miles per hour from very early on at 40 seconds in, that gank onto Vikla. I don't even know if I call it a gank, just a level 1. We don't have level 1s anymore, so like, what do we say? They took it from us.
It's still a level 1. It's just you have a very short amount of time in order to get that level 1 down. So that was high value. Having a look though, things being this even is testament to BNK being able to stabilize. A lot of other teams, things could have gone completely off the rails after what happened in that early game. And Paze is in a very good spot, don't get us wrong. But there's a 20 stack advantage on the Cull here for Diablo. And this Aphelios will still probably get to pretty dangerous territory in this game. First Drake going to get started up here by T1 though, as they are on a ward. Phalite is lit up there.
Yeah, and Raptor does have his ultimate, but there's not really a great angle to employ it for him, unfortunately. Could try to get into the backline with a Wild Growth setup if we could see Kellen close that gap. He also has level 6. They're going to try for something.
Yeah, Kellen moving over here. I don't know about this one, as Wild Growth is available. Lantern can be taken here as the Flame Chompers go down, as Vikla possibly a target here for Faker. No flash. Shockwave comes in onto 3 as the hook is going to connect. Vikla is definitely dead, but can they keep fighting? The answer is no, as Owner just dashes forward still. Diablo finding the damage. Moonlight Vigil to take down the Xin Zhao, and now Carrier is looking for him. Red White Guns come in, but he doesn't find the hook, and Diablo's able to run amok in the the fight. Faker able to take the Lantern out. And so T1 will get away with their support and mid laner.
Yeah, very close to losing a third there in Keria, but he does get out. And unfortunately for BNK, they weren't able to secure the Dragon, but they do win the longer fight. Because in this initial setup, I was like, okay, they really want to set up Shockwave into a Wild Growth combo, but T1 play this well. They collapse onto Vikla first. He still gets a Shockwave off, and this hook is huge onto Raptor because it buys some space. If Raptor could get in there and then set up a Wild Growth post Shockwave, it could have been massive. But Diablo ends up getting the massive ult here with the Infernum, and then is able to swap over to red-white, so he actually is doing massive damage here. They don't have cooldowns anymore. The kill goes over to Paze, or onto Paze, so even though he was excited, he's not able to actually offer that damage through anymore, and the longer fight is won by Diablo. Doesn't pick up any of the kills, unfortunately, either, but now has 3 assists to his name.
Yep, and that gold lead that Paze had for most of the early game is slowly getting smaller and smaller, so to me, it's looking like we've got a bit of a game on our
hands. Yeah, I like
game number 1. And I do really like the BNK composition. We were talking before about how they've had a lot of synergy success as Hook is going to come down. Diablo just walks into it. Pace has to flash. Diablo cannot follow, but Keria is definitely dead. As, yeah, Raptor has it charged up. Pace in a bit of trouble. The flash from Kellen! Help Pix to take the kill.
All right, send him in. And now we really got a game on our hands.
And now Diablo really doesn't have a kill. Like, this is so annoying.
He is going to have a plate additionally here to his name, at least though with the Crystalline Overgrowth taken out.
Oh, yeah.
It's a solo plate as well, 120, and he's got Severum, or
yeah,
Crescendum.
Crescendum's ridiculous for taking turret plates as well, so that might be an extra one to be taken down, especially with Raptor in the vicinity to help out. Let's have a look at this one more time.
So, I mean, he's on a ward, but, we're still going.
Oh, dear. Paze has just made his way back and is now lost half his health already, and now he's dead. Diablo is given a kill! There we go. BNK now moved to 6-3, 2.5k gold advantage.
There may be a bit of a bell curve in terms of us having a game and then not having a game that may be occurring. We may be close to not having a game again, Atlas, just in the other direction.
Oh, no, that's true. We need to stay in the sweet spot. Stay in the... Okay, T1, make something happen here as Faker gets the flash down. The Ram comes through as well as Diablo's knocked up in the game. It's coming back. It's coming back. Well, Faker's going to be able to pick up that kill. Kellen is going down as well. And T1 move back towards the driver's seat. As Paze cannot catch a break, man. It's just he's trying to get to a mini wave. As Keria is likely dead. The box did come on through, but Raptor will have some more buttons available, and there it is. Now Ona's come on over, though, and no more flash here for Raptor as Teleport brings the Rumble to the bottom lane, and Paze is going to come over and try and grab the kill, but it is Ona that picks that one up.
I do think in terms of the gold, this ends up evening out pretty nicely for T1 after what seemed like it might have been a disaster there. As Paze was denied farm. Paze is now in a CS deficit after what was a crazy scenario there in the early game where he got the freebies. Okay.
Yeah.
Vikla, the biggest winner here, arguably, because he was able to deny Paze farm and also get additional money there in the mid lane, as this is so much of a commitment here. Look, Faker's roaming down, Vikla's in the mid lane during this, so yes, they end up getting the kill here, but it takes a lot of time. Mind you, also at the same time, Doran is here, so plate gold is going over to clear on this Rumble on the top side while Paze is being denied farm. So yes, they do end up getting the kills here, T1 do, but it's at a heavy cost. And Keria also dies. He was roaming mid while Paze was coming back, which is part of why Paze was killed a second time. He dies here, but at least it's a trade back. This doesn't really mean too much in isolation, but Raptor is pretty fed in this game. I think that's his third.
It does get the flash out of Raptor, which could be important moving later on into the game, but more kills on the Pantheon always feels good. 4, 1, and 2. My goodness.
Oh, that was his fourth. Yeah, not his third.
Yeah, that is a lot of gold over to Paze, though, being able to pick up that first death for the Pantheon. And so that's why things are kind of okay here on this bottom side. Moonshot not exactly doing too much as Paze gets that shield from the Lantern, but Kellen feeling pretty good on this Lulu, and I think Lulu's power level pretty high, and especially when paired alongside these hyper carries that can really get stuff done in the late game.
I'm amazed to hold up Paze.
That's Moonlight Vigil that comes down, grabbing him, comes on through there, and the Pantheon is going to come down, and yeah, there was no room for a Lantern.
Yeah, Diablo is starting to actually get the kills now, too. He's not just getting assists anymore. Yeah, that's just straight up not really much Paze could have done there. Didn't have flash, got hit by the Moonlight Vigil with grabbing him set.
Yeah, and also
see you later.
It's a fed Lulu, so that he's got an Ardent Sensor built already.
Oh my god!
So Diablo may not have any items himself, but thankfully Kellen's built one for him.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's a little bit of extra something. This is going to be the first rate going over to BNK, and we have a Mountain Soul this game as well. If T1 get that, that would be pretty scary. But same for BNK.
You know, we talked about how much of a game we have here. We might have like too much game here now.
Yeah, there's too much. It's all over my hands. It's falling all over the desk. I can't see the monitors anymore. There's just too much game everywhere.
Diablo just hits him over the wall with the Moonlight Vigil because of the ward, and Raptor was ready to go in instantly there.
Paze is just not allowed to walk towards his own turrets. As soon as he does that, he seems to die. It's all right. Ram comes down, flash out from clear, just to avoid dying to Owner's gank there towards the top side, but they do get the flash. That is good news.
T1 are in serious trouble here. Like, this game is very rapidly becoming unplayable. I mean, now
there is a
just
de-evolution happening of the video game.
Yeah, we're back to this is not a game at all situation here because FaZe can't play the game anymore, and Diablo has taken a significant lead. Obviously, the Cull is about to cash in, and that's going to get even bigger. Notice he is 55 stacks ahead of FaZe in terms of that Cull cash in, so he's going to go to 2K ahead in just a moment here. CS lead is there for Vikla. He has his first item online. Plate gold, pretty massive here, as you guys can see. And BNK, this composition is not supposed to be this strong this early.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, in comparison to the T1 comp, though, it kind of makes sense, right? Because they have a lot of scaling in a lot of these lanes. It's not a lot of win lane, win game for this composition. You could argue that Ornn actually does pretty well into the Rumble, but ultimately is more of that late game champion. Jinx and Azir, two of like the poster champions for late game scaling. Even if, you know, Azir has been in a position where he can kind of lane pretty well forever. This was pretty greedy in the draft. And so BNK, even though their comp does kind of do the same thing, it's better than what T1 has at this stage of the game.
Diablo's had his role quest done significantly faster as well than Paze, so he's starting to get even more money even faster, as that is just how it goes with AD carries. Paze should be finishing his very soon, but Diablo is really, you know, starting to stack up the gold. That Cull cashed in I mentioned.
Yeah.
And he is on his way to a second item very soon here. I think with no equalizer, Clear may be in trouble, but I mean, there's not... I have to wait for that next wave if they're going to go for this. Vikla does have TP.
There could be a teleport angle here. We'll just have to see whether they do go for it. And it looks like the answer is going to be no. Clear is just dead. Owner tanks up the turret quite a lot, but he is absolutely fine as Diablo is behind this turret, and it's all about cross-map here for BNK. They're like, we do not care about you killing our top laner if we can take the mid lane outer turret as well as the top lane outer.
All plates going over, and
where did the grubs go, by the way? The grubs just kind of went back to the void.
The grubs read the patch notes, and then they went and went hid away. They were like, oh yes, it's the bottom lane, that's where we play. I mean, Doran has spent a lot of the game not in his lane as well, and there's not a lot of prio up there, not a lot to play through there, so we just didn't end up taking them. Whereas Raptor has spent his entire life in this game devoted to killing Paze.
Yep. And you know what? If that's what he's going to get meaning from, he must have a pretty meaningful life. He's been certainly successful. Now has 2 items complete. So does Owner, though, who is pretty strong in this game at the same time. The jungle is in pretty good standing right now. Somehow Owner is actually ahead in gold, even though he's behind in kills. Does have those couple of extra assists and things like that. And so our jungle is very powerful in this game.
They really are. I mean, everybody's kind of accelerated except Paze right now.
Oh dear.
This is a crazy TP.
Yeah, let's see whether this one's going to work out as Clear makes his way in. Now Raptor gets on top. That's going to be the shockwave onto 1 as Owner trying to get himself out of there. There is Clear dying though to Paze. Paze actually getting some more money here as now Raptor could be taken down as well. A bridge too far perhaps, but now Diablo's able to get that damage through. Super Mega Death Rocket though to answer, and now Diablo's frontlining. I'm not sure about this one as he needs as many Gravitums as he can. The flash over was so sexy from Diablo. Finds the Moonlight Vigil and Paze shuts him down. T1 will find the team fight in the end, but it looked pretty cool on BNK's side.
All I have to ask is why for BNK on this play, the Rumble flanking TP melee range equalizer experiment, I think maybe needs a little bit more room to go back to the drawing board a little bit, maybe discuss this one a little bit, because he just sacrificed himself. The equalizer value is okay here, but you're just otherwise so incredibly split. And if Diablo was not as big as he was, same with Vikla, honestly, I think there's just nothing in this fight for BNK. This flash from Diablo was amazing, but ultimately it still isn't enough to kill Pays. Yeah. As Keria hits the hook onto him, and the damage is there, the zap is there, and Pays is able to take him out.
Even with the cleanse, that hook was enough to stop that last auto attack from coming through. So really important there that Keria did manage to hit that one. He's pretty good at Thresh, is what we all kind of know.
But now the game is more even than it was before.
I mean, if we look at the bell curve, Wolf, we are back in game territory.
T1 are going to take this dragon. It's their second of the game, which will put them at just a simple 1 dragon lead here at 19 minutes. But that's a lot of map control taken away from BNK despite those early turrets that went down.
And also there is a lot of standing gold here for T1. They've only taken the bottom outer turret. They still have mid and top lane to remove and the plates along with it. So if they are able to take some control, then it could mean that a lot of these structures are just going to go down and that gold lead could balloon. As now Doran's possibly in trouble. He's looking to try and turn this into a bit of an engage, though. Finds the flash forward, Shockwave, just to try and keep Diablo alive. It gets the autos down. Faker is taken out, but they are able to answer with the whole bottom lane being destroyed. Raptor with the Aegis, not able to get it done, and Pays, yeah, he's excited now, able to take down his arch nemesis in Raptor on the Pantheon, and 3 already dead in trade for Faker. Clear going to follow. Hook, of course, is going to connect, and the Flame Spitter not doing enough, and another kill over to the Jinx.
It was
T1 are trying to take the game out of our hands, Wolf.
Yeah, it was a really clean setup from T1. Again, like, I don't want to say that BNK are throwing this away, but they're being very sloppy with their setups here. Look at where Diablo is. Like, Faker is in, shuffle range of him. Now, he doesn't end up getting him initially here, but he's on the setup while they're trying to push the banana brush and look for a setup there on the corner with clear. They just left Diablo in a position where he was easily going to be engaged on. And, really for what, though? I mean, if you can just play this a little bit slower, you have the Orianna ultimate to zone, can prevent Faker from having these types of plays, right? Faker is, by the way, massive in this game now.
Yeah.
And he has been for quite some time. And he's even going to get some additional gold because he's alone there on the top side right now with a big wave. Diablo is not really set up for success in that one, and it was not his fault.
Yeah, the thing that's a little bit of a worry is if your Aphelios doesn't have flash, you can't be in positions like that, right? Where things can get turned on. Plus,
or you got to be grouped around him, right? Like,
and don't engage onto an Ornn.
Yeah,
because he's pretty strong, and he's a secret agent. Like, look at him. 007 there towards the top side of the map. 2 items completed, and does have his own ornament. The Kraken Slayer is now the Kraken Obliterator here for Pays. And even more of those items are going to come on down. So you can see T1 with a 500 gold lead, something like that. But the amount of stats they have is much higher.
I've seen this before, Atlas. I've seen the, Faker might get caught in the side lane.
Oh, no.
And T1's already running up.
Surely, like, BNK knows.
They know. Everybody's got to know by now. When Faker's, like, past the equator, and you're like, I think he might be a bit too pushed up, but you don't know where the rest of the team is, just don't go on Faker. They learned. They know. And I thought we might have seen another disaster here for BNK, but doesn't happen, Atlas, and we're just going to reset back to waiting for Dragon territory here, where if T1 get this with an Ornn and a Xin Zhao, frankly, Mountain Soul Point feels very potent.
Oh, yeah. Like, even just the individual Drakes feels very, very strong, where they're the team with the front line. And BNK, we were talking about how this composition actually gets things done in the early game, and T1's draft was somewhat greedy as far as the amount of stuff they have in the late game. I mean, it's 22 minutes into the game. We're getting towards said late game, and with Doran at level 14, he's going to start doling out even more as Pays. Oh dear, he was on the map again. That's problematic.
Yeah, he was almost near his inner turret, and Raptor was like, that's just not enough. That's not enough safety.
That's why I said he was in the dangerous spot, which is on the map.
Yeah, he wasn't in the base, so, which is arguably not safe at this point either with the Sved Pantheon. And they're just going to start the Baron.
Yeah.
Owner does have flash.
I mean, there's a lot of damage onto this as well, as BNK trying to get rid of the vision. T1 not wanting to give this one up, as now Owner going to get engaged on here by Clear. He's the one that needs to be there for the smite, so if Clear can actually get him out of here, that could be a big deal as the hook is going to connect, and Carrier is going to look to try and take down Clear, but now Faker's in trouble. Polymorphed, and Diablo will be able to find the kill before anything's really happened. Clear is going to get traded, and now the Baron is down exceptionally low. Owner still has a health bar, though, and he gets into the pit. It is going to be secured by Raptor, but down goes the Aphelios, and now Vickler is trying to kill Carrier. He might be able to do so as the hook doesn't land, and Raptor is able to get himself out of there. BNK somehow find the team fight. I say somehow, I mean, T1 had to fight without their Jinx, but still, I mean, that was a mess until it was fine.
I kind of feel like that was one of the cleanest Barons I've seen from two teams in, like, ever. I mean, T1 didn't have a Jinx, right? And the setup was terrible. So still not going to have a Jinx.
Just going to look to kill Vickler here, and Vickler says, I will instead take that.
Yeah, so they didn't have a Jinx. They won't have one anymore for a moment here as well, but the way that BNK played this, well, watch how they mark Faker, as we're going to go back to this play first, which is him backing on a ward, unfortunately.
Yes, it's the pays on the map problem again.
Yeah. Carrier's like, I got a lantern for him, but it's too late. Look at how they play this, though. Faker TP's in, and BNK they're like, if we can't kill Owner, we're not going to put this in smite range. We're not going to 50-50 this. They push on the Faker while Clear marks Owner alone, and then they turn on to Clear because it's the only option, right? T1 play this brilliantly as well. Faker's trying to find the angle. He can pull 3 people worth of aggro. He dies, and then T1 try to make this happen, right? Like they're like, I'm not giving this a 50-50. I'm not giving this a 50-50, but they're taking so much damage that T1 find the angle to go in and almost are able to deny this. Like, I feel like both teams played this brilliantly, and T1 was the team that were playing with one hand tied behind their back and yet still made it interesting.
Yeah, and that was a 50-50 in the end. As BNK are going to even out the Drakes. Oh, goodness, there is so much game. The game is everywhere.
Yeah, it's 33 kills as well in this game.
Yeah.
We are game maxing.
We are definitely game maxing. This is the most game I have seen all season long, as the equalizer is not maximizing the amount of game. It was just hanging out. As now Diablo wants to take down the Sun Disc, as Doran is going to get a nice knock up there on to the Aphelios, but his damage is actually quite ridiculous now with 3 items complete. The Ram comes on through just to take down Clear, is now Owner looking for the angle. Diablo still wanting to fight this. And BNK realizing without their top laner, they're going to have a little bit of a struggle. So this Baron is going to be less helpful than it otherwise was.
If there was an equalizer there, I think things could have turned out a little bit differently.
I mean, the equalizer was in the right spot. It was just there like 15 seconds early.
Yeah.
Problematic.
Clear is somehow, like, I haven't really looked at this, but he's 0-5-4 in this game. The game is
he's
really not been about top lane.
He's 1,000 gold ahead as well. I think a lot to do with like global gold, but like the 0-0-10 on, who's actually doing absolutely fine.
If this was last year,
really far behind.
If this was last year, he'd have like an 800 gold bounty as well for some reason. As Doran tests the theory of like, how tanky am I? It turns out really tanky, actually.
Yeah, quite.
And so they cannot punish him for walking up like that, and it's in fact BNK who get punished as Raptor, or rather Clear, does get taken out.
By the way, that's first strike, by the way. First strike is why Clear has the advantage that he has.
Yes.
That rune, that keystone looking pretty
It's
revolting.
pretty good when you shoot an Ornn a lot repeatedly.
Indeed.
Forever. And the Ornn can't hit you first. You're the one who strikes first, in fact.
Oh, Faker doing some damage right now with his Nash's Tooth upgraded.
This is a really good position for BNK on the map, just 4-1 with the Rumble.
By the way,
those waves.
Dude, what about, so the ornament name for Nash's Tooth, why don't we call it Baron's Grill?
Why? Oh, okay, I get it.
Don't you reckon? I reckon that one sounds pretty good. As manages to get out of there. That was... Diablo likes to play on the edge.
Yeah, he does.
Say that.
And then the T1 players were like, Pays, come on, you got to work on your recalls. Did you see how Diablo did it? He knows his limits. Yeah, Baron's Grill. I'm down for it.
Heck yeah. All right, so...
Sounds better than Baron's Veneer, right? Like,
yeah, that sounds like you're fixing something. You haven't made a decision to be a little bit more gangster, you know?
Exactly.
I like it. All right, BNK waiting for this next Baron that's going to be up in 2 minutes' time, but Soul Point available for both teams, as this is going to be available
for
2.5 minutes.
For BNK has been honestly refreshingly crisp. They've played this really well. They 4-1'd for a little bit to get control over the bottom side of the map, forced T1's rotation over. Diablo had that successful back. They pushed the Ori on the top side in the lane matchup into the Ornn, so he has a ton of control there inside pressure. Faker hasn't really been able to breathe that much finally actually able to push a wave past the river, but that's as far as he can go because there's a Pantheon with ult up, right? So he has to kind of stop there. And I think the way that BNK have used this slight lead that they have right now post Baron, you know, before any of these objectives respawn, has been pretty efficient. Hasn't really given T1 many opportunities to punish them.
Yeah, they've taken a bit of an advantage as well, moving that needle back in their direction. None of it really all that meaningful, and with all the ornaments, it is a little bit dangerous. Oh dear, Faker's in a side lane. I'm saying oh dear for BNK, because we've seen fights like this break out, and T1 don't seem too worried about it. Teleport is going to come on through, though, as Diablo is going to get missed because he does have his trusty minion in the way. Manages to take down the inner turret. Nicely cross-mapped. Like, again, this is what BNK have been so good at this game, and that is keeping T1 honest with their plays. As Doran going to look for a knock-up here, but doesn't quite have enough direction. There's the shockwave, though, as Vikla picks it up. Wild Growth to keep Raptor alive as well, but Pays is free-hitting. Diablo is frontline as he flashes on top of Pays. Gets the big shield and will go down, but he takes the Jinx with him. And BNK, I think, have enough damage left in the tank. Doran is finally going to burn down, and Carrier has to flash. 10 seconds until the Baron. And that was are really good, man.
Yeah, they actually really are. And that was Diablo basically just saying, damn it, I said hit the damage dealers. They're all shooting Orin, and he's like, no. I said we kill the AD carry. Is it the initial part of this fight? It looks like T1 might be able to buy some space back here. Vikla and Raptor set this up, though. Amazing shockwave. Faker is dead. That's half the damage gone, right? Then the Wild Growth buys some additional space here. Pays can't really be hit by anybody. Diablo's like, I guess I'll take care of this. Carrier hooks him. He cleanses and takes that extra shot, and they trade each other. But without Faker here, there is just no way T1 can win the fight back. And this is a ton of gold. This is Baron, as you mentioned, and potentially the game-winning moment for BNK.
Yeah. Man, Diablo's cleanses have been just incredible this game. Every time, it looks like he doesn't get CC'd from the death sentence. The one towards the top side of the map was a little late, but that one was perfect and made sure that he went 1 for 1.
T1
is still going to be able to get the Drake. Yeah, it is a 5,000 gold advantage, and Baron goes over to BNK, and it's not Soul. So this could mean that BNK can now use this Baron in order to get an insurmountable lead. There's 4 items on the Aphelios. Diablo is very scary, but now the ramp comes on through. They get the knock-up, and he gets Wild Growth. Let's see whether Diablo can stay alive in this one. I think he might just be able to. Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't quite work, and Raptor stands in front of the hook. Ona looks for the angle as Diablo gets so much health back, and Pays is going to melt as the Flame Splitter comes down. Clear sacrifices himself for his god, and his god is Diablo in this game.
Yeah, well, with a 45, 1.5 kills per minute game here, this was a lot of game. This is the kind of game where when the Nexus explodes, you do truly say, GG.
Yeah, we might need to do that. Let's try and do the StarCraft thing. Sorry, the Korean caster thing is this Nexus goes down, because it absolutely deserves it. And BNK, what incredible play around the advantages that they found for themselves. They made this game their own, and there it is, GG!